Well,
Good evening,
good
everyone.
evening to everyone. We got Danielle, Lee, Diana, and Stefan. Good evening to you all. We're not too sure what's up with James yet. I'm sure he'll join soon. Well, I'm sort of like just sat here breaking up some moss.
So you might get a little bit of live action in the background at some stage tonight. We've got one of the enclosures needs completely redoing because we thought we'd had an escapee of one of our green trinket snakes.
Oh.
Turns out it hadn't escaped at all. It had just burrowed so far down underneath the substrata it got underneath the mesh before the hydroballs layer. So we pulled everything out looking for it and found it. So completely trashed its home. So yeah, it's one of Sarah's jobs for later on is if she wants to get that redone. So
well, I found a very old block of stagnant moss that was like one of the compressed block forms. And so I soaked it and I've let it dry, and now I'm breaking it up so that it's in tiny bits then to go into my substrate.
Yeah.
All these great jobs that we do.
Hey, Danielle's in.
And yeah, don't worry, Danielle, I haven't let everyone know about your message.
Oh.
No, obviously daylight savings over there. Had a random message. You're not live tonight. An hour ago. Good evening, Ian.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I've had a little bit of sad news today.
What was that?
Come home from work and I found my female OBT sort of upside down with legs all curled in. So I'm not sure whether or not she's tried molting or.
Oh no.
I've dropped a couple of droplets of water in her mouth, but doesn't seem any movement or anything.
Yeah. Oh.
But on the plus side, though, my two chromatuses have molted.
Okay.
And like simultaneously as well. I knew that they were both coming up to molt. I said to Angel about it, and then I've come in tonight, and one's already flipped over, stood next to his molt, and the other one was literally flipped upside down next to the molt.
Nice. Seems to be the week for it. I've had quite a few molts as well this week. I think I've had 2 of the little GBBs, 2 of the little juvenile white knees, the Adrianiculatas. What else? Little Panthobetus antennas has molted as well. The big female T Blondie's taking her time. She's had like an almost jet black shiny bum for a week now. She's just really taking her time. I hope that means she's going to put on some epic size.
I mean, that Nandu revamp video that we've put up, that was done quite a while ago now, and it's been in pre-molt ever since then. I mean, that's been like, I don't know, a good month now, and it's just been sat there. Like I said to her, I knew that it was going to, because it hasn't wanted to do any burrowing since it's been in there, and it's literally just been sat on this little bit of moss, and occasionally you can see an extra few strands of webbing going around and stuff. So it's been slowly building itself a molt mat.
Yeah.
Oh, James, I'm not going to make it tonight.
Ah, that's a shame.
I was just about to put the same sort of thing then. But yeah, I must admit as well, my agent's been looking like that it wants to molt, but it's been sort of a bit. I'm not sure whether or not the last meal that I gave it was a bit big for it or not.
Yeah.
Oh, and congrats, Danielle. Danielle has Avic babies and H. Gigas.
Yes, I noticed that. I've been keeping an eye on the progress of that Avic, like the little since they first put these up when they were little eggs with legs.
That's the thing. I don't generally check Instagram too much. I really should. Angel does more on Instagram than I do, so.
Yeah.
And I mean, even she says that she's been slacking lately, other than obviously if people message her or something, then she tries to message back. But
You're on Facebook. And
yeah, well, that's it. Well, even the actual Angel and Tom's Facebook account, she has access over that. I don't even really deal with that. It's only if people message me directly that sort of I deal with it.
yeah, I don't go on Facebook all that often. I go on Instagram a little bit more.
Oh, and that's Wayne gone.
Oh, don't tell me it's doing this again.
Evening, Wyverns. Your internet having a funny 5 minutes, is it?
Yeah. Can you hear me now, Tom?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can see it. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, no, he's gone.
Huge delay. Internet's dropped out again. I'm going to restart the laptop. It should get me back onto the Wi-Fi network.
No worries. Well, so is there anyone else having any news in their collection or hobbies or? And there you go. Any new additions? I haven't personally had any new additions. If you watched the stream over on James's channel last week, then I had mentioned about that something had turned up, but it was the wrong size, so I sent it back. But lo and behold, it has all come back now, all at the right size. So I'm still not going to say what it is, but if people know, oh, yeah, repping the Invert Kingdom shirt tonight. Thought, you know what, why not? But yeah, if anyone has been following the streams, or if everyone has been following the streams, which most people have, they will know what I'm talking about. No worries, Wayne. Hopefully you can join us again shortly. Waiting to restart his laptop again. Let's see.
Hello, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bad as Riley.
Riley, you can go on the line. Hello.
Angel, sing us a song from Danielle.
La 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 la. No. Hello. No. Bye. Bye, guys.
Sorry, Stefan. I sort of my lad's night in one's in the wash, so I picked up this one. Well, sorry, Stefan. Occasionally, things do actually have to be washed. We can't all live in. Are we, allowed to know what this super special stream is then, Danielle? And what time? Oh, that's the one that starts at like 2 o'clock, isn't it, Danielle? Our time, I think. Because I do try to get it, but yeah, I thought it was about 2 or 3. I'll try to make a little bit. I'm not promising. Well, see, you're as bad as me dropping hints here, but Yeah, the thing is, generally I work on a Saturday as well, so I finish work and come home, chill out. Wyvern, it's 3 a.m. Sunday morning, basically, for their stream. And yeah, Wyvern, sorry, I've, I've just sort of read back up the comments. Yeah, you will see a video on the new edition, but it's not actually a new edition as of such. It's something for the room. So I'm just sort of, I just need a few hours to obviously get some things sorted for it. But yeah, there will be a video. I'm thinking it's either going to be a two-part video or it's going to be a bit of a longer one than usual, depending on how I feel. Where are we? I know, Stefan. I know. And one of them's probably Wayne because he's loading up his laptop or PC, whichever he's using. And yeah, Diana, the fish did eventually go to her mum's, from what I know. Do you not hear my strange voice, Danielle? You know, I haven't got a singing voice. Be serious. Yeah, I know, Wayne. I feel like the same thing half the time. You know, this laptop's always done through wireless, but it's a bit of a nightmare sometimes. I can't remember what fish we had. I mean, we had tetras at some point and a couple of angels and stuff, but I'm not that clued up on fish anymore. Sort of my fish knowledge has now gone out the window, unfortunately. Everything that I used to know, it's pretty much the same as when it comes to things like tarantulas and stuff. At the end of the day, all the keeping and stuff changes over the years. So, you know, from what you used to be able to just keep fishing with just a little pump and stuff, all of a sudden now you have like full sumps and filters and the fans going and everything else. I mean, obviously a more marine tank. So there's no one else with any new additions. Anything exciting happening over the week for everyone? Yeah, I know, Stefan. I mean, my 3-foot marine tank that I used to have, as I say, I didn't have well, back then it was a full setup, but to what I look at it now, it's sort of, it's something or nothing. But you trying to make sure all your water levels are correct and stuff. I know at the time as well, I think I spent best part of 300 or 400 quid on Live Rock for it. Oh, and we have Wayne back.
Hello, sorry about that. Went to restart the computer and it decided it was going to do an update at the same time. It would appear our Wi-Fi can't handle too many devices connected to it all at once, so I had to jump the laptop back to the head of the queue.
Wow, that's a bit of a big jump there.
Wow,
Full-time
okay.
tarantulas.
Oh, so what did I miss, guys?
Not an awful lot. Me just rambling a load of nonsense just to try and keep people here while you're not here. Yeah. You know, I had Danielle trying to get me to sing. That wasn't going to happen.
Oh yeah, just seen that on the comments. Oh. Yeah, no, you couldn't get a Christmas carol out of him at Christmas. It's not like you're going to get him to sing on a random live stream.
Oh, and I was just saying about how I was saying last week that obviously what I received last week and had to send back because it was the wrong size.
Okay.
Everything's now here and can be started.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing that.
So that's going to be then a nice little thing coming up.
Good, good. When are you planning on? When are you planning on actually starting?
Quite possibly this weekend, but I'll have to see how I feel like Saturday or Sunday, because I might like start doing it while obviously, you know, the TTSN lot are on and just sit with them in the background and start doing it then or something.
Nice. Mm. So, yes, I look forward to seeing this.
But I also got something. I got the same thing as well for another little project for the Blue Death Fame Beetles as well. So
Okay. Ah. I've got a whole bunch of enclosures that I need to redo. Just finding the time to do it now I'm back at work is yeah, so much to do. Time.
I know, well, that's like me. Like, I mean, last night I sort of like coming from work, did everything, sat down for 10 minutes, and it was just like, you know what? Come on, let's do a few rehouses. And I just done a few quick rehouses last night of some stuff. Obviously filmed it, and I mean that'd just go up as and when You know, that
Yeah.
it's, you know, it wasn't much. It was just like a couple of killer brackies and, you know, only slings, nothing. But I mean, one did actually give me a bit of a run around, ended up out the tub. Oh, have we lost Wayne again there?
That's not me again. Yeah.
I'll go and switch with Alexa.
But yeah, I know the feeling. You know, I sort of like walk in from work now, and it's sort of sit down for an hour and go to bed, or get up and do some sort of video.
Yeah. It looks like my internet issue is not completely solved.
Are you sort of lagging again, or?
Yep. It seems to be dropping in and out. What is it with Tuesday nights? Every other night's absolutely fine.
I know. Well, that's it. We kick the boys off their Xboxes and stuff on a Tuesday night now. It's almost like a family night for the boys, because they all now have to sit in the front room and watch a film together.
Actually have to talk to each other.
It's like you lot will communicate with one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best bit is sometimes, obviously, listening to them argue over what they're going to watch. And then generally you end up with two boys with phones in hand and earphones in, and then one of them sat there watching the TV.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty much the same with my two. If you can get them sat still long enough to watch a bit of TV, they're okay. Other than that, they're on their tablets, but they can't sit still for 5 minutes on their tablets. They're constantly wandering around. Both of them listening to something on their tablets at full volume, which gets a little bit like crazy for the head after a while. So we've got them a pair of headphones each to put in. Yeah, mental. Stephan just said put the stream on for him.
You say that when my daughter Phoebe's got her room to start with, she obviously we put a TV in there for her, and she's got a Fire Stick on it.
Okay.
And obviously she knows how to use it and whatever else, and she would browse them through YouTube, and obviously Angel would put our channel on her own profile.
Okay.
And I walked in one day and she was like, Daddy, come look. And I'm like, what? She's like, I'm watching you on the telly.
Yeah. My boys were the same when they started doing that on YouTube, because we got obviously the smart TV. So you got YouTube as an app on the smart TV, and the kids found that, and it's linked to my account. So yeah, found my videos, and that fascinating for them. So yeah, makes you feel good though, doesn't it? Like, yeah, Daddy's on TV.
It's not like when someone watches EastEnders, but still.
Yeah. Oh. So how's work going for you at the minute, Tom?
Absolutely chaotic. And I mean, like, I think we've taken on 5 blokes in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah, we're sort of at that stage now where there's at least 10 of us running around outside everywhere, and then there's everyone else in the workshop and upstairs, and
yeah,
it is all of a sudden it's just gone stupid.
yeah. It seems to be the same for me at work. Very, very different trade, obviously, but this week for some reason it's just been a crazy week. It started at 60 mile an hour and just escalated.
Well, I completely forgot I was meant to be up early this morning for work, and next minute Angel comes walking in and she's like, "What time are you meant to be at work?" I was like,
oh no.
With that, the guy's sat out the front in his car, and I'm just like, "Hi, yeah." It's still like pinning the eyes open. It's like, "Oh, I'm here."
Hey, Diana.
And then the thing is, he's texted me tonight as well, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm picking you up early tomorrow." So now I've just found out I've got to be up like just on 5 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, good evening, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
But yeah, for me, I mean, like obviously we just had quite a big storm as well, so
Yeah.
which is for us down at this end is kind of pick things up, should we say?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Tanya, James can't make it with us tonight.
Don't know any more than that yet, but I'm sure if he's missed the stream this evening, there'll be a very good reason. I don't doubt.
Otherwise, he'd be getting one of these. No, you know, I mean, we all have things pop up every now and then, don't we? So
yeah. Yeah, you can't always control life, can you? And stuff comes up last minute, and yeah.
well, I mean, we've all got to have super fans somewhere along the lines.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have one yet.
I can't even say my daughter is really. She finds it comical.
Yeah, well, it was my boys to start with, but they've kind of got bored of me now. They see me enough during the day. They don't want to see me on the TV as well. Oh, no, Sarah's my super fan. She's giving me an odd look now. Oh. Oh, thank you, Diana. That was awesome. Such a lovely thing to say.
Oh, that's much appreciated. Glad to have you here. And you know, Sarah's getting some.
Sarah always gets love from Tyler. Nice one, Tanya. But that's also very good. I do like eggs and bacon. Oh. Oh, so you guys in the chat, how are we all doing this evening? Anything exciting happened so far this week? No, Danielle's got the baby Avix and an H. Geiger egg sac, which is pretty awesome. Anybody else have anything interesting happening with their animals this week?
Good evening, Sidex.
Hey, dude, how you doing?
And wrong side. Just because, you know. I mean, like I said to Stefan, he moaned at me, you know, yet again for not having my shirt on. But you know, like I said, unfortunately, sometimes things do go in the wash. And then I did have this one out for, you know, my rehouses that I done last night. So I thought, you know what, I'll throw this one on.
Yes, Sarah tried to appropriate my Lads Night In t-shirt, so I am actually representing this evening. But it disappeared. I couldn't find it last week. I had no idea where it was. And it had snuggled itself away into one of Sarah's drawers.
I know. That's what happened to this t-shirt, actually. It's been disappeared for about 3 months. And then all of a sudden, you know, we've just obviously changed around all the conservatory and stuff like that. Now the tortoise is out there. And she was like, this isn't my one, pulling it out of her drawer. And it's like, I don't think it is, no. So that's where it's been.
Oh, no.
Because that's the problem. My wardrobe is now gone from... Obviously, this room here used to be where we kept all the clothes for us, like all our wardrobes and stuff. But as things happen, they slowly move out and everything else moves in. But the wardrobe that I had was sort of like falling to pieces. So we've now disposed of that. But all of my sort of like YouTuber t-shirts and stuff were all hanging all next to each other in there, and it was like easy enough. I could almost just walk out there and just pull one off, and now they're just sort of in all sorts of drawers.
I try and keep all mine together, but it doesn't work. Some of them are hanging up, some of them are folded up in a drawer somewhere, some of them I have no idea. But I do need to get more merch t-shirts from the Tarantula Invert community. I don't have enough. I definitely need some more. I don't have an Invert Kingdom one yet, so I need to look into that. That needs to be rectified as soon as possible. Maybe Sidex and I'll have to have a chat offline about trading some merch, because I think he's still after some of my hot sauce. Danielle says that her Lads Night In t-shirt's cooler because it's got the bigger logo. Stefan agrees, but there was method to that. So I got the t-shirts made up and created. I wanted my t-shirt to be slightly different. So I didn't want all of them to be exactly the same. So I had this one made up with the small logo on the front, but I've got
nice. Yeah.
logo on the back. So just to be a little bit different than the other ones that I produced.
And don't worry, Danielle, my YouTube wardrobe is lacking as well. But then I, go with
do mugs instead.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of mugs.
What you call me?
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I'll give you that, Danielle. That's until I get one produced with the big logo on the front and the tarantula shaped logo on the back, and then that will be cooler again. So a friend of mine, like a family friend, that has just started a small business called Pixel Perfect.
Yeah, let's see that.
And she's just started producing all the same sort of little bits and pieces that everyone gets done up for merch. So guess what I finally have?
Very nice.
Not only that, so this is after sending out a bunch of mugs to other people, I don't have one of my own logo mugs, which is nuts. But after making up for us, she also made up some of these.
Oh, that's cool.
So logo face masks, and I've got a little fridge magnet
Oh, wicked.
that sits on my racking.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Diana. How you doing?
Oh,
Yeah.
good evening, Steve.
I'm good. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Steve. Welcome
Look who
aboard,
it
dude.
is.
So, what have you guys been up to, Matt?
Not really. Usual things.
Oh,
Have you been busy, Wayne?
just work for me this week. It's been a crazy week, and we're only on Tuesday. I feel like I've done a week's worth of work already.
Oh, blimey.
Yes, Tyler, she is going to start doing stickers as well. She's only just started. She dropped those round to me as like an introduction to what she's going to be doing and stuff, and as a gift. She's getting a Facebook page up and running. As soon as that Facebook page is up and running, I'll chuck it across to you. She's a family friend as well.
Come and say hello. Oh, no, she's not going to do it now.
And Sidex.
I've got my COVID.
I think that might have been a dig at Steve.
I've got my COVID jab tomorrow.
Okay, is that your first one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. How are you feeling about it?
I'm a bit nervous, but I'm needle phobic as well. But I have a way of doing it. So.
Yeah. Do you know which brand it is you're having?
No.
Okay.
No. Are there some that are worse than others? Just wondering.
No, they're not any better or worse really. They just seem to be the side effects that you get with the different brands are just slightly different. Some people are absolutely fine. I had the Pfizer brand. I've had both. I've had both of them now. Being a healthcare professional, I've had to have both. And I got a sore arm and a headache. That was it. You know.
Well, I've got a thyroid problem, so we'll see how it goes with it tomorrow. Yeah.
The Oxford version, which is the other one that they're giving out quite a lot at the moment, which seems to have overtaken Pfizer. Most of the people I've spoken to that have had that have had almost no side effects at all. Very few people have had them. So, fingers crossed, everything will work out well for you.
I'm sure it should be fine.
It's like anything, isn't it? It's that little bit of time leading up to it, and the thought about it's worse than actually going through it, isn't it?
Well, no, actually, I thought it was Thursday, not tomorrow.
Oh no! So that's even worse. It's crept up on you.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yes,
Yeah.
Steve, can't wait, mate. Really looking forward to it.
So, but at least you'll be once it's done. Once everybody's got it, we'll be able to go back to some sort of normal.
No worries. Thank you, Danielle, for joining.
See you later.
Hope you
Daniel.
can feel
Thank you
better
for joining,
soon.
Daniel. I hope you feel better soon.
We should do the conversation that the other guy used to have about food. He always talks about food, doesn't he?
Who's that?
The other one that usually joins Tom. I've forgotten his name.
James.
Yeah, James. He always
Yeah,
talks about food.
that's like our signature subject since we first started the stream.
So, what do I say?
And there you go. Look.
Just getting that way out. Okay.
Is Rocky Mountain
just quickly sliding it in there before she leaves. Look.
does does she live with James then?
Who's that?
No, there's James and Danielle that are Rocky Mountain that come from Canada.
Oh, okay. It's wrong, James.
Yeah.
Too many.
Yeah, so normally while we're on the stream, it's Danielle from Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks that's in with us, but every now and again, James comes home from work while we're still on the live, and that's when it gets confusing because we obviously have James on here and then James, Danielle's other half of Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks as well.
Ah, that's fair enough. Have you got... So what pets have you got, Wayne?
So I've currently got about 70 tarantulas. I've got about 50 or 60 snakes thereabouts, Tom. That about right?
Something around.
What type of snakes? Or are they all different?
They're all different. So we've got boas, we've got rat snakes, we've got milk snakes, we've got royal pythons, we've got a Burmese python. Yeah, bit of a varied collection.
I've got a royal python. He's being a monkey at the minute, not eating.
Yeah, that's one of those things you kind of take when you get royal pythons. Yeah. They're notoriously fussy feeders.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to tell me when he's hungry. Well, we tried him a week ago and he was like, no, not having it. So, yeah. Okay, you can wait a week then.
It's amazing. I mean, food, a couple of degrees too warm, a couple of degrees too cold. You know, it's raining outside. Whatever it is, they just they're really fussy sometimes.
Quite good, but at the minute it's like, no, not having any of it.
Yeah, the ones that really stress you out though is if you keep like multiple royal pythons and you've got them over breeding season, because once the males pick up on the females' pheromones, they stop feeding because they've only got one thing on the brain then. Typical males.
Is that including with like another female animal? Because he's on top of my gecko. Just asking.
I don't know. I mean, you could be picking up on pheromones. There's different animals produce like different pheromones and stuff like that. But I don't see why not. It's why it wouldn't be possible.
He's just being awkward.
Yeah, a royal python is guaranteed to be awkward.
Yeah.
I know. I must admit, that's what I like my corn snake is that regardless of what you can feed it, and it's just like he'll take it. It's like obviously I stick to my schedule every 2 weeks for him, but
yeah,
he'll take it every 2 weeks. I don't have any of this sort of like offer and no.
Yeah. See, I don't really have a set pattern for feeding mine. They wouldn't have a set pattern in the wild.
No,
they would feed opportunistically, so I try and just sort of mix it up a bit. Sometimes they'll get fed once every 10 days. Sometimes I'll leave them for 2 weeks. The big boa, he has bigger meals and he only eats once a month, but he's massive. Okay. And he eats rabbits. So
I was going to say, what's his favourite food?
Yeah, he does like a good rabbit. If we're feeding him rats, we have to use jumbo rats, and he's got to take 2 or 3 at a time. I mean, he's easily 8.5 foot long.
How long do you leave in between if you do that 3 at a time?
So what you mean in between each one of those? It's easier doing it that way as well, because they're still, if that's why you see, if you ever get a raw python that's been for a particularly long time without feeding, feed it smaller items, but use a couple of them at a time. And if you can feed straight away and they take it, follow it straight up, literally just as they've finished it, follow it straight up with a second one, because they're still in that feeding mode.
Yeah, I was going to say it's all about feeding frenzy sort of thing.
Yeah, so they're already predisposed to want to feed at that point, which is a good way if you get, like, especially young royals, if they're really struggling and stuff. I've rehomed loads from people now that have bought them from pet shops, not really done their research, realised that they're really fussy feeders. They can't get them to feed, and it's like they turn up and it's like, I can't get my snake to eat. What do I do? So you have to go through that stage sometimes of assist feeding and stuff. And it's quite good if you're trying to get them to learn to strike feed. It's quite good to use that method for that, because if you assist feed, once they get that down and it's finished, if you then offer straight away again something else small, they'll quite often start strike feeding from that, and it builds up that feeding response.
My snake sometimes strikes, sometimes he's being lazy. I call him. But he's so good. Even my 10-year-old can just get him out if she wants to. So you can't ask more than that.
That's good. What other pets have you got, Diana?
I got a chameleon.
Oh, nice. What type?
Ankeefi. He's quite an unusual one.
Okay.
But he just wants to come out all the time. Sometimes I have to ignore him.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing the personalities they develop.
And I've got 2 geckos, but I bought them together, so I've just left them living together.
Okay, what they
together at the time?
Leopard geckos.
Yeah, leopards. One's a male, and he's he's like a, well, I've been told albino, and the other is just a normal. But they were together at the same time, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was mean to leave them. And then they changed to stock and had another couple. So I was like, I'll take them both together. But no, they seem fine. They've been fine together.
Yeah.
They thought it was highly funny. I gave them waxworm moths the other day. They thought that was fun. They like chasing them.
That's good.
But because she sunbathes more, she always gets like Scooby snacks. Because I see her.
Yeah.
So, but I always leave enough in there for him. But she just, because she's out, she looks up at me and is like, "Do you want one or not?" So she likes sunbathing. He likes hiding.
Yeah.
Because I've given them UVB. That's why. So I call it sunbathing. Because they should have it, really.
Yeah.
Even my snake's got UVB. I know they don't need it, but sometimes it's good for him.
Okay, Sidex, take care, mate, and hopefully we'll see you back in a little bit.
Bye, Sidex. Does your snakes have UVB, or does it vary?
So it depends on the species. The majority of the species I keep don't really have any requirement. It's more having light for a circadian cycle, so they've got a natural day-night rhythm. The requirements for UVB are incredibly low for most species.
I've only got 6%, but I thought it just gives the daylight cycle.
Yeah, the green trinket snakes I've got, they've got a very low UV light source. Not that they really require it, but they're in live planted vids, and I just find it helps with plant growth and stuff like that. The rest of them have just got standard,
is that the new
like natural lighting
one?
So I've got, that's the Pro T5s I've got in.
The LED sort of one, is it?
These little things.
Yes, that's what I've just bought for my chameleon. Yeah. Do you know how long do they need changing? Every so often.
So it varies. There's a lot of people that say you should change them every year, but actually, if you take them to a decent reptile shop that's got a UV tester, like a solarimeter, they can test the output, and for the most part, they'll last a lot longer than what people recommend.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure. I've only just put it in. That's why I asked about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I would aim for probably looking at about a year, and then, you know, so long as it doesn't like malfunction in the meantime, see if your local, like one of your local reptile shops or something, see if they've got a solarimeter, because you can
Okay.
take them in and they'll test them for you to make sure that the UV output is still sufficient.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's
we've
this?
got-
On UVB strip bulbs.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they do tend to last a lot longer than what the recommended
Yeah, they do.
time frame is.
The LED ones.
Yeah,
Yeah, the T5s obviously last a bit longer than the T8s, but
oh, did you say the LED ones then?
Yes.
Oh god, the LED ones will last for thousands and thousands of hours.
Yeah, it was the LED one I bought.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
what
yeah,
I was
you know,
asking.
you'll be unlikely if you need to change that in a 10-year period.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was the
they're
LED
incredibly
one.
good quality.
It was for my chameleon because he couldn't
Mm.
quite see enough, so we bought him
Yeah.
the LED one to match the Pro T5.
Yeah,
So, but he
yeah,
seems
got
well happy with that.
something ridiculous like a 20,000 hour like shelf life, something like that, like
Oh,
operating
wow.
life. They're incredible. They're
Yeah,
expensive. You do pay for them, right?
Yeah, but for him, at least you don't
Yeah.
only have to change it the once. That one.
Absolutely.
So your dog's in the background. What doggy is it?
He is a German Shepherd.
Ah, I've got Staffy next to me.
Oh,
So, have you got any dogs, Tom?
we've got like a little Jack Russell cross something. She got it from a friend of hers years and years back now.
Yeah, part of the family now. Then,
Yeah.
where does it tend to sleep with the kids or with?
Yeah, normally in the kids' room, in the boys' bedroom with them.
How old was your boy that come on earlier, Tom?
That's Angel's boy, but he's
Oh,
15.
Angel, sorry.
Yeah, no, me and Angel only have the one child together, which is my daughter.
Ah. Oh yeah, last time she wouldn't go to bed, would she? She was dancing. Because I think you come on later, didn't you, that day, Wayne? Just as I was going.
that was while I was working away, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, other than that, do your snakes cope when you're away, or do you have someone to look after them, Wayne?
Oh, my missus is here all the time anyway, so she's
Oh, okay.
she's just as animal obsessed as I am, which works quite well.
Oh, that's useful.
Angel's not, so if I ever went away, whatever survived when I come back survived.
No, Fen, leave it alone.
No, should be able to cope with the tortoise, I suppose.
Oh, good
No.
fun.
I say Sarah's just as mad about them as I am, and you know that. But to be fair, like half, if not more, of our collection now is Sarah's.
I want a Creeper card T-shirt, and somebody stole it. My daughter the other day.
Oh no!
I was like, I'm gonna say see you to that one then.
Oh.
As soon as she saw it, she was like, "That's mine." I'm like, "Okay." For about 4 nights, she went to bed asleep in it. So I'm like, "Okay." I was like, I could see me not getting that one then.
I did that with one of my channel
with-
merch T-shirts. Go on, Tom.
I have it just whenever any merch turns up. The Angel gets first call on it. Unless I've like specifically ordered myself a mug or a T-shirt, then if someone sent us wristbands or even if like someone sent me some free merch in a box that I've bought, or from like Spider Shop or something like that, if it turns up with a wristband, if she hasn't got it, then she has to have one first before I do.
Oh, that's called compromise in a relationship, mate.
It's like, but I've bought the box. Yeah, but I want that. Yeah, all right then. There you go.
You've got the rest of the stuff. This is what I get from it.
Do you do much on your channel on YouTube, Wayne? Or
Yes.
haven't you got? I wasn't sure. 'Cause I don't think
Yeah,
I
I've
know
got.
which channel's yours. Sorry,
Say again.
I don't know which channel is yours because I have to link subscribe. Okay. I'll have a look for it later.
But is it
Yeah.
is it tarantulas or is it still projects on?
So on
YouTube.
YouTube, it still comes under Stone Circle Projects, but the logo's the same. But if you go onto YouTube now and you type in Stone Circle Tarantulas, it links directly to my channel because of all the videos that I've uploaded on there. So, and there is a link from my Instagram profile direct to the YouTube channel as well.
Oh, okay. That is cool. Are they LED blue bulbs behind you?
They are, yeah, they're LED strip lights, but they're multicolored, so you can change the color of them with a remote control. I normally have them set to red at night time, but red's quite a harsh color when you're on the live stream.
Yeah. Or
So,
it turns pink.
Yeah, I noticed that. So the blue looks really sort of like a pale blue here, but they're actually quite a rich blue color, like in real life. That's probably more to do with the fact that I've got a really rubbish red webcam.
I cheated. I've stolen her iPad because it doesn't squeak. Then I learnt from the last one.
Yeah, I need to
start with.
I need to upgrade some of my audio visual equipment. I've got the new camera for Christmas, which is fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to getting that out and starting to use that.
Have you used any yet?
Say again?
Have you used any of it yet? Of your new equipment?
No, not yet. No, like literally just as I was preparing to get set up and we just started to redo the animal room behind me, I ended up getting sent away to do that that COVID support tasking.
Oh yeah, when I first met you.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to get it all out and do all the bits and pieces that I had planned because I had to go away on that at very, very short notice. They told me on the Friday and I was out the door on the Tuesday morning.
Oh, not much notice then.
No. So I spent literally that weekend trying to get the last of this finished up and moved on, so Sarah didn't have any of the heavy lifting to do while I was away. And then that was me. I didn't get back until, well, let's say not last week, but the week before was my first stream after getting back.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I missed that one because somebody wouldn't go to bed that night.
So, but that was hosted from my channel as well. So if you're not subscribed to me, you probably wouldn't have found it.
No, I wouldn't have found that one. Probably. I found.
No, I mean, I've been pretty lazy with putting up posts at the minute over Facebook with the streams on Tuesdays. Generally, I then sit here while we're on stream and post it.
Yeah.
Well, I try and do to ask, didn't I?
Oh, and if you're not as well, you can join his Facebook group as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have a Facebook group as well.
Oh, I'll have a look a bit later.
So if you search for Stone Circle Exotics, you can't miss it. It's the same logo, but instead of a tarantula in the middle, it's a snake.
Oh, okay. I'll have a look.
I say it's my group. It's not my group, really. Sarah started it. She manages it mostly. I go on there every now and again. but that's the plan. The plan is to eventually expand that. So what we want to do is start a proper exotic pet and reptile rescue center.
Wow, cool.
The area that we live in at the moment is quite predominantly military personnel, and there's a lot of people that buy stuff on a whim, have it in military accommodation and that sort of stuff, and then don't look after it properly. They get sent away on various different things and they have to get rid of it short notice. So a lot of the bits and pieces that have come into our collection over the years has been from military people that have had to get rid of pets short notice. And it made me realise that there's a lot more than that. in terms of like in the local areas and that sort of stuff, of people that are just dumping animals at random places, and there are less and less and less rescue centres that will take exotic animals like tarantulas, snakes, lizards, stuff like that. We've got the experience between us, a lot of years experience dealing with exotic pets, so we thought we'd put it to good use. Sarah was military, but she got out a little while ago, and she's been looking for something to sort of keep her occupied and stuff. So yeah, we do the animals, and that's the future plan anyway, is to try and launch that as a reptile rescue centre, and then maybe tying it in with a little bit of I don't know, animal education, I suppose.
What started me off liking reptiles was I did 2 years at Northampton College for animals, so that started me off. So, but the teacher always used to give me for my exams the ones that were mean. And I said to her one day, "Why did I get that snake?" She's like, "Because you were the only one that I trusted to read that one." I'm like, "Thanks."
Yeah.
Because it used to be a bit of a mean one.
Yeah.
Just it used to lunge at everybody. But eventually they gave it away. They gave it away to the one girl it liked that could handle it.
With maybe you'll have to come down here and try and get used to this one of ours that we have dramas with at the moment, and then see if this one takes a shine to you. We've got a Vietnamese blue beauty rat snake.
Ooh, okay.
That is pure incarnated evil.
You have to show me one day a picture.
Yeah, we'll get some. I mean, she's absolutely beautiful. She's a beautiful snake. But we ended up with her again. That was a rescue from a guy who had her for a little while, but was so scared of her he couldn't even get into the Viv to clean her out.
Oh,
so he'd open it just enough to get the spout of a water dish, like a watering can, through to top up the water, and he'd poke some tweezers in to feed it, but he couldn't get in to clean it out or anything else. Beauty snakes are notoriously temperamental and bad tempered anyway.
Do they strike a lot?
Yeah, they're very, very striky, and they can get to a good size, and this one's like grown into an adult, never being handled.
Okay.
So it's the one snake in the collection that both of us are a little bit like, you need to be careful on this one.
Is it just that you don't know what mood she's in, sort of thing?
No, do we know exactly what mood she's in? She's always in the same mood. The tear your face off kind of mood.
Do you have to cover her? Will she strike at the tank when you walk past?
So she's learned not to do that now. She did at first, but she was in a very small tank when we got her, and we've upgraded the size of her tank, so it's much more suitable for the size of her now.
How big is she?
She is probably about 7.5 foot long.
Oh wow!
But being a rat snake, obviously she's quite slender. So.
What's her favourite food?
She quite enjoys rats at the moment. She's taken rats. She's taken Maltese as well. She's not really fussed.
She's one of them that you could throw the extra one to if someone doesn't eat it.
She's definitely the dustbin of the collection.
The dustbin, as they call it, yeah.
But yeah, so we're trying to work on her and get her used to it. So she's the only snake in the collection that we handle with a hook. Everything else is handled with your hands. But you have to get her out with a hook. Once she's out, she chills out a little bit more. So it's much more sort of Viv defensive than it is, you know.
So will she let you stroke her when she's out? Once you've got her out with the hook, that's
as long as you don't go anywhere near her head, and she's got room to move. Yeah.
So
get your hands in line of sight, and she'll go for your hands.
I had a monitor that was a bit like that once upon a time.
I love monitors.
Tore my hands to pieces getting him out, but once he's out roaming around on the floor, you can just pick him up casually, and he'll just sit on your lap and all sorts, and it's like great. Yeah. So I need a Kevlar glove to get you out, but then when you're out, you're fine.
Hi Moon, it's just joined, he said.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining.
Good evening.
Do you handle any of your tarantulas, you two, or is it just if they come out randomly?
Sorry, 2 seconds. Lee, yes, mate. If you can send me a picture, I'll have a bash at identifying it for you. I don't handle mine. I'm not judgmental in terms of people that choose to handle them and don't choose to handle them. It's each individual person's prerogative if they want to handle, if you like. I don't think they get any benefit from it. You know, it's to me, it's all about risk. And I think handling them is a little bit too much risk. So I know
they strike hares.
It's not so much that. I mean, they're not like snakes. So snakes will get used to being handled. Reptiles will get used to being handled. Tarantulas don't have a brain that functions that way, so they don't get used to it. They don't like it or dislike it. If they choose to be on you, it's because you're part of their natural surroundings. But the risk is always there that they could move suddenly, cause somebody to jump. They're very delicate. You know, it's not worth the risk. They get no benefit from it. People get benefit from it. If people choose to handle it, it's because they get benefit from it, not because the animals do.
That's it. That's pretty much how I see it. Like, I've only ever once kind of deliberately held one of my tarantulas, and it was one of the sort of grown on slings to small juvie stage of my Brachypelma hamori.
Yeah.
And that was because it was doing all right. So rather than using a catch cup or anything, I thought, well, I'll put my hand basically between the two enclosures and use it as like a ledge and just sort of like let it walk up and but that was like the closest I got to handling one of my teas because I attempted to handle it. Everything else I've handled. Yeah, everything else that I've handled has all been off my own accord, and it's generally just been like my 2 to 3 centimeter slings that have decided they're going to run up my arm.
Yeah,
I've only handled one ever tarantula, and that was in college. It was a Chilean rose, but she wasn't handled often because everybody else she used to spit hairs at, bar me.
That's what you always used to make me laugh about Chile Rose. Everyone used to go on at Chile Rose. They're chilled out, most placid species, really good for beginners and that sort of stuff. I only ever, in my entire collection, only ever owned 2 Chile Roses, and I've been keeping tarantulas now on and off for about 20 years. Out of the 2 that I've owned, both of them were idiots and were horrible. They weren't chilled out. They weren't placid. They used to kick hairs every time you open the enclosure.
Oh, okay.
You know, people say that about Brachypelma species. Oh, you know, yeah, they're great. You know, you can handle them and you can do whatever and everything. Whereas my Albiceps, she's a nightmare.
Yeah,
she is an absolute nightmare. You go to try and move her at all, that's it. Hairs are going everywhere. Whereas my Grammostola Pocopes that I've got, I had no problems whatsoever. Nothing. Yeah, it's a little bit jumpy, but
what's the most grumpiest spiders you both got in your collection?
What's my grumpiest? Probably my Cereopagopus lividus, the cobalt blue.
Mine has got to be. It probably was the Dichromatus, but where it was wild caught, it didn't last very long, unfortunately. But I didn't know it was wild caught at the time. But then the one that I still own is my orthodoctrinine U-type tanny,
Yeah.
and that thing's just generally
Yeah.
as soon as you shine the light down her burrow, that's it. It's like
Actually, saying that, I've got a female Monocytopus balfouri that's a bit like that. She can be a little bit narky. See Stefan's comment there.
Have you seen that Amy's caught a house spider and turned it into a pet?
I did that a little while ago. We've
that's
currently
what happened when I first started the collection.
Yeah, Sarah's just reminded me we've currently got a pot sat on the windowsill in the kitchen that's got a false widow female and an egg sac in it. And it's about to hatch.
Well, I got told when we first started.
My other half has just got my snake out.
Ah,
This is Sandy.
it's a nice wild type variant, that actually. She's got some really, really lovely markings.
He's got smiley emoji faces.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can. He's going the wrong way.
Yeah, fair one, Lee. They're notoriously grumpy as well. Southeast Asian species. Southeast Asian tarantulas are always grumpy. Oh, how old's he?
He's 5. He was born 23rd of June, 2000. So
Okay.
but he's about 4 or 5 foot, I'd say. I don't know how big boys get for royals. I know girls are bigger.
Yeah, that's probably about it. He's probably topped out.
Yeah,
He'll just get wider the more you feed him.
when he decides to eat.
Yeah.
But he's happy enough.
Yeah, so he's what? That's when did you say he was born?
June 2018, we think.
Okay.
Because he wasn't that big, but we think he was the runt of the litter.
Okay.
But my daughter had the choice of 7, and he was the only one that would sit on her. So we're like, okay, we'll go with him then. Or we think he had been a bit more tamed than the others, so it's like we'll go with him then. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to eat.
He's really nice and chilled out, isn't he?
He is. He's quite placid.
I mean, he's a good size. He doesn't look like he's skinny or underweight or anything. So if he misses a couple of feeds, it's not going to do him any harm.
I think it's 3 now, but
males over breeding season can fast for between 6 to 9 months.
Because it is breeding season now for them, isn't it?
Yeah, well, coming to the end of March is the end of breeding season.
Not that he would know, because I don't know girls.
But yeah, with them it's based on temperature. So it's the natural temperature fluctuations between.
I mainly keep them at 27.
Yeah. So 27's good ambient temperature, but raw pythons go they need a little bit of underbelly heat as well.
Yeah.
So
a mixture of both. Yeah.
It's that underbelly heat, it's the fluctuations of that kind of makes a difference when you're ruminating them and stuff for breeding. So that'll be those bits and pieces, but they will pick up on like the differences in humidity and stuff like that. So as the natural ambient humidity changes, they'll pick up on that.
Yeah. We got him because he was like a sandy colour, and that's where he got the name Sandy.
It's appropriate. That's good.
10-year-old. Our dog's called Apple. We named her because we were trying to get her to talk, so we thought she may shout at the dog.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's not unheard of for them to go for a ridiculously long time without feeding.
What's the big cage behind you, Tom? What's in that?
What?
By your stickers, yeah.
That's the milk frogs.
Ah, okay. How many have you got?
3.
Are you going to put
Yeah.
more in there?
Agreed, Ian. I've only ever had one Auratum in my collection, and that was quite grumpy as well.
Yeah, I still don't own one.
Any reason why?
Just haven't got round to it yet.
They
But
don't come up
no,
so much anymore either.
no, that's one thing that you don't generally see very often. But then I suppose, you know, there's a couple of them. I mean, Kallenbergies as well, to little cattles now, obviously, but you don't generally see them come up too often.
No.
So
Have you got most of the spiders you want in both your collections?
No.
No.
no,
So
there's a hell of a lot more arboreals that I'd like to get.
But it's having the room as well for them, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
Have you two been to many of the shows before they all got cancelled?
Yeah, I've been to a few.
And I've only been to Seas once.
Well,
We was
going to go to the Bedford one, which is nearer to me, but because it's not been on yet, we've not been.
Yeah. So up until probably last year before, we used to go to Kempton Park every year. So that's the big Amateur Entomology Society's trade show that goes on at Kempton Park Racecourse, just outside of London.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty epic. The BTS I've been to, but not for a while. And then Terroristica in Ham, I've been there a few times as well.
Which was your favourite?
Terroristica in Ham. It's one of the biggest reptile conventions in Europe.
Oh, okay. It's abroad, is it?
Yeah, it's in Germany. It's in Ham in Germany.
Ah, okay.
But they have just about everything you could ever imagine in the exotic pet keeping world.
How do you bring them back then if you do buy over there, or do you have to do it by courier?
No, you just pack up what you take, stick it in your car, and drive back. Certain things, obviously, you need certain paperwork to bring back. So anything that's covered under CITES Article 10. So if you're into your tarantulas and stuff, anything that's Brachypelma, the entire genus is covered under CITES Article 10. The Trilta cattle is part of that now as well. Grammostola, the entire genus is covered under CITES Article 10, as is the Pokies now as well. If you want to bring those back from Europe, you need CITES paperwork to prove that they're captive bred and not wild caught. And with the reptiles, it's very much the same. So anything that's covered under that endangered sort of CITES Act and stuff, you need to have evidence and certification that they're captive bred, and of course anything that's DWA as well. You need relevant paperwork like a DWA license to transport stuff back.
Somebody's just joined. I don't know who that is. JPS Pet Nation. Hi.
Hey JP, how you doing, dude?
John Paul.
Yes.
It's quiet without your friend tonight, isn't it, James?
Yeah, bless him. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully we'll get a message from him later on. He says he's okay. He's just not able to come in tonight. But like I say, if he's not here, it's probably for a good reason.
Yeah. I better be an early finish because sometimes with James it's a late one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's the unfortunate thing. Like James at the moment's obviously got a little bit more time on his hands because he's still furloughed from work.
Yeah.
But both Tom and I end up having to get up quite early in the morning for work. So as much as we'd love to keep it going on until the wee small hours, we'd both be ruined for the next day.
No, that's understandable. It's not fair on either of you to do that. Well, I have
But
to get
that's
up with
like Danielle mentioning earlier about obviously their stream on Sunday morning at 3
Yeah.
o'clock. Sort of like I'd like to try and make it to one of them, but then by
Yeah.
the time the daughter gets up at 7 or whatever, I can't do it. I've said that I would obviously try and like make a little bit of it, but
you can only stay up so long because you need to get sleep for the next day.
Yeah, that's a good point, JP. Although it's not always enforced, as I was saying, like, you know, most, you know, things might be a little bit different now. We're not part of the EU anymore. But a lot of the times it was only the odd random vehicle that was being stopped coming back through customs on the way back from places like Ham and the other European shows. So not everyone was actually getting stopped and checked for the paperwork. So there were plenty of people bringing stuff through, I'm sure, that probably weren't supposed to. But you're right. There's a lot of people over here that are keeping stuff that they shouldn't really keep without a license. And I think it does need to be policed a little bit heavier, because of the risk that's involved. And some of these people that, you know, can't apply for a license or have otherwise been rejected for a license, that decide they're going to keep the stuff anyway, are putting themselves massively in harm's way. And it's just not worth it.
And jeopardising the hobby.
Absolutely. The more stuff like this happens, the more bad press the hobby gets. You know.
Did you watch that one, Tom, that I told you about? I've forgotten her name, bless her, that was on the CBBC about the tarantula. She has loads in her room.
Oh, Sophie?
Yeah, Sophie.
Princess Sophie Pink.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did read the article, and like some people said in the chat, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Francis actually said that, you know, if you read down through the article, then it actually promotes her and shows that, you know, she's like doing the right thing rather than, you know, what all these people believed and all these like phone calls and blah 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 about her and stuff. You know, they were actually saying that, you know, she does care for them and she is doing right by them. It's not that she's just buying an animal just for the sake of getting an animal.
Yeah.
I dislike my chameleon's favourite bugs. I don't know if you've seen. Do you know the pak choi grub? He absolutely loves them, and they make me go ew every time he squishes them.
Yeah.
So apart from now, my daughter wants to turn them into bugs too. That have turned into crystals. I'm like, oh, okay.
Tyler's just asked a good question.
Yeah,
So, in terms of spiders, there are only currently 2 genus of spiders that are on the DWA list, and that is Latrodectus, which is the black widow family, and Phonutria, which is the Brazilian wandering spider family. They're the only 2 that's covered by DWA at the moment. There's a lot more scorpions in terms of invertebrates that are on the DWA list. Any kind of Buthidae scorpion is covered under DWA. I can't remember specifically, but I think there's about 210 species that are on that list from the Buthidae family.
That's a lot more scorpions than spiders.
Yeah.
Are there many lizards and stuff on that list?
Sorry, that's wrong. Actually, so the funnel webs, the Atrax genus, which is the genus that Sydney funnel webs come from, they're also on the DWA list. I completely forgot about funnel webs. So yeah, Atrax, anything from the Atrax genus, Atrax robustus, which is a Sydney funnel web, and there's 2 or 3 other species within that genus. They're also on. Yeah, Ian's just said the same. Atrax is DWA.
Is there many reptiles on that list as well?
There are quite a few.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot more snakes, because anything that's venomous is covered under the DWA license, except for a few rear fang venomous species like false water cobras, hognose, stuff like that. But you have a lot more things like, so yeah, no false water cobras or hognose on DWA list. They're rear fang venomous, so they're not classed as being dangerous wild animals. But things like Komodo dragons, for example, any kind of crocodile, caiman, alligator are on the DWA list as well. Gila monsters are also DWA. And then there's obviously a lot of exotic mammals and stuff as well that are covered under it. So things like foxes, wolves, certain species of monkey and ape are also covered under the DWA list. I mean, it's fairly easy. If you go onto the .gov website and just search for dangerous wild animals list, you can look at all of the species and the genus and everything that's covered under it on there.
Impressive,
yeah.
you've memorised quite a lot.
Say again?
I said impressive that you've memorised quite a lot.
Only when it comes to like the reptiles and the inverts, really. But I've been doing it for a very long time, so it's not that I've memorised it. It's just I've been doing it so long. It's just that random information that just sticks in your head, never goes away.
Yeah. So what made you get into the reptile? Oh, how long have you been keeping all your reptiles?
So I've been keeping. So I started out in tarantulas. I started with tarantulas, but I was always one of those kids that was crawling around in the dirt and digging up beetles and putting spiders in pots and stuff like that. That was me as a kid. My uncle, when I was about 10 or 11 years old, used to keep tarantulas. He was one of the earlier hobbyists. So back in the early 90s, he started keeping tarantulas and stuff like that. I was always fascinated by them. Used to help him do the husbandry and care of them and help him feed and all that sort of stuff. And my mum's a terrible arachnophobe, so she would never let me have my own spider at home. As desperately as I wanted a tarantula, she would never let me have it. So I was always interested in it and did all the research and was like watching all, the nature videos that came out on Discovery Channel and all that sort of stuff way back in the day. But I didn't actually start keeping my own spiders until 2003.
Okay.
So, and that's when I actually physically got into the hobby. So once I'd moved out of home and I'd got my own place and that sort of stuff, that's when I started keeping the stuff I wanted to keep, and it's just escalated from there.
At one point I used to have, I can't remember what type of snake it was. It was a snake that ate fish, but it didn't want to stay in its tank. It kept escaping, and my nan had district nurses, and I kept seeing the head underneath their chair.
That'll be a garter snake, I bet.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, garter snakes are fish eaters, and they're notorious escape artists.
Yeah, and Nan was like, "Is it in the tank?" And then I sort of looked at her and went, because it was under the nurse's chair, because I saw his head come out, and that was just funny. But he did not want to stay in that tank at all.
I mean, we went for a handling day down at one of our reptile shops, and they had a pine snake. And the boy that was here earlier, he had it all wrapped around his head, and he was there like, oh, "This is great," And he was like, "Oh, I'd like to get one of these," and it's like, we haven't got the room.
Yeah. See, this is what I would like to do. Like as I progress through the hobby and that sort of stuff, is I've always had an affinity for animals and nature of any kind, but exotic pets, specifically reptiles, tarantulas, inverts, and stuff like that, I've just got a really bad rap. And media doesn't help with stuff like that. Yeah. I would really love to be part of that community of people that can go out there, showcase this stuff, display it, and teach people that there's nothing horrible about them, that they are fantastic, they're fascinating, they make great pets if you do your research and that sort of stuff. That's what I want to do.
I agree with you, Wyvern.
Yeah.
I didn't have many when when I was with my mum, and then I moved in with my nan. I went a bit crazy because I could get away with it. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So is that more like an AK class rather than an AA class?
Animal Keepers Anonymous.
AKA. There you go.
Ian, is the snake that is a terrestrial one, the Baron?
Baron's races are pretty cool.
Are they terrestrial, if I remember?
If I remember correctly, they're semi-arboreal.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I was going to get them in before, think about it, in my small tank, because it was 3 foot high before I got the baby camellia. But then we changed him to the 4 foot one because he grew quicker than what we thought. So he's quite happy now in that one. We had them both ready because we rescued one before. So we just kept that tank from him. So he was a character because he would only eat locusts because he hadn't been taught any other food. So this one I've taught all sorts of different bugs. He likes wood louses. The big squishy grubs are his favourite.
Yeah. Ian's just said they're arboreal.
Ah, yeah. So
I think I get confused with that and the Goniosoma oxycephalum, which looks very similar.
I was looking at getting one of them, Ian, but then we got the chameleon instead. So, hi, Scott's Animals, who's just joined.
And Tyler said that they'll get some t-shirts made up with AKA.
Yes, do it. Hey, Scott, how you doing, buddy?
Good evening, Scott.
I thought he'd bottled it this week and wasn't going to come in after his little slip up last week.
Why? What did he do? Why? What did he do?
he made a little bit of a typo on one of his comments, and it could have been construed as incredibly inflammatory.
Fair enough.
All depending on who we had in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, Scott, no, mate, you're not living it down, ever. The worst thing it was is the person it was directed to was my brother. He came on and like kept us company for a little while in the chat. So you should probably point that out actually. So Wyvern Stronghold is my brother's other half, Tyler.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I recognise the Stronghold bit. I was like, I'm sure it can't be, or is it? I wasn't too sure.
Yeah.
But then I think the better bit was that he didn't realise it was your brother to start with.
No, that was amazing. It was all taken in good humour though. So.
Which other YouTubers do you tend to watch, the pair of you?
It all depends, really. I mean, I don't binge watch anymore. I used to just binge watch loads of stuff, and I don't now. I tend to more sort of, if something pops up, regardless of who it is that's published it, that's something that's like, oh, interesting. I like that. Oh, that's a species that I'm interested in, or if somebody's doing an unboxing from a place that I've never bought from before, little bits and pieces that I tend to sort of dive in on. I think.
Have you heard of this new food site, Live Foods for You? I've ordered twice from there, and it's been pretty good.
Okay, I've not come across them yet. I'll give them a look. Yeah, most of my live food orders I get through Reptile Centre UK.
Well, this I've ordered at 9 a.m. one morning and got it the next day.
Yeah, same with this place.
Same with this place. Which one was that you've ordered from?
Reptile Centre UK. So if you type in Northampton Reptile Centre.
Oh no, I don't like them.
No. So, but there's two versions of it. So you've got the actual place, the shop itself.
Yeah.
Northampton Reptile Centre. I don't like them. I phoned them with an issue once, and they basically, I didn't get anywhere. And the person that I spoke to on the phone was actually quite rude to me.
Well, the first chameleon we got from there died within about 6 months.
Yeah.
We'd only had them about 6-8 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it was our first. We didn't actually know how old he was.
Yeah.
Since then, we fell out with them.
Yeah, their online department seems to be much better, and that's not run from the store. It's not run by the people in the store either. It's run by other people from a warehouse.
Okay.
And it's mostly all your dry food and your dry food, your dry goods, your lights, your vivs, and all that sort of stuff. I've ordered quite a lot from them, and I've not really had any complaints from them yet, or about them yet, I should say.
Yeah, I've never bought from them. All my live food comes from 3 kind of local reptile shops.
That Scotty, that's where I found it from. The live foods for you.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. Yeah. So all the live food that comes through generally comes direct from Peregrine Live Foods.
But you know, the funny thing is though, if you look back on Scott's Scott Invert, on his very first unboxing of live food from livefoods.uk or co.uk, whatever.
Yeah.
You'll see that there's crickets roaming everywhere. They're all in the post office. They're all in the postman's van.
Yes,
and they're all over Scott's kitchen. And the second box that turned up, Tara left outside because she didn't want the same thing to happen.
Well, mine have come. All the boxes was taped up. Every box they taped up on this one. So the rest of them, I've had some boxes open as well from other places. I'm like, oh God, what's over the basement's van this week? So, but no, now they've sort of learned to tape all the plastic tubs.
Yeah.
So
which is good. I mean, that's what you want from a place like that. If they make a mistake with an order and you point out that they've made a mistake and they rectify that mistake and it doesn't happen again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's, everyone's entitled to make a mistake now and again, as long as they rectify the mistake.
I do notice they put a heat pad in there as well when it was cold.
That's good.
That's it. I mean, look,
quite impressed at that.
Just look at Jaden's unboxing where there was a tarantula roaming around in the box.
Yes.
Is that Jaden?
Not a species you wanted loose either.
Mr. Grinder's creatures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he always gets random things like that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But the thing is, as well, sometimes if you don't, for people like us, where we record pretty much everything, it's quite easy for, if you go and tell someone something like that, generally they go, nah, that would never happen. That would never, and it's like, no, look.
Well, my daughter decided to wind Jaden up one day. We found a doll with green and black hair like Jaden. So we said, this is mini Jaden. I sent him a picture of it. So she likes joining in on the lives as well. But she tends to send them pictures that she's done. I think Kieran's had a green spider car that she found. So she does try and join in. She loves it.
The only person that sent me any fan mail so far is my sister.
Oh, I can ask her if next time she'll do you a picture. I'll ask her.
Well, this is what I said to the guys a little while ago, actually. So now we've redone the animal room. We've got lots of bare walls and lots of space to put stuff up. And I need stuff that I can hang up that as I'm doing the filming and stuff in here, I can have as a backdrop.
Oh, I'll ask her if she'll do you a picture.
That'd be awesome.
Okay. Leave it with me. I'll get her to do them. So... other than that, I'm going to go in a minute, I think, because I've got a busy morning tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I've got to try and
Okay.
get her in 10 minutes early so I can get to where I've got to go for my vaccine. That's why. But you know that was going to fail, probably, knowing her.
Oh,
Whenever you want to do stuff 5 minutes early, it never works.
no, especially not when you plan.
Yeah.
The best plans always fail first.
Yeah, I can see it failing tomorrow. But luckily, I've given myself an extra 20 minutes. So, because I've told her I've got to be there earlier than what it's not till 10:10. So,
Yeah.
I've still got time.
Good.
But okay. Right, and I will see you too soon. I will
Yeah.
No worries.
subscribe to your channel, so I'll find
Thank
them
you.
tomorrow. All right, then.
Right.
See you later.
You take
Bye.
care. Thanks for joining us, Diana. It was lovely
Bye.
having you on.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
you too. Bye.
Bye. Oh,
Oh, yay. So my bro and sister-in-law are going to send me some fan mail. That's awesome. I'll take some of that. And Scott said he'll send me a flag. So, Scott, if you send me a flag, that double door that's behind me, that's where it will go.
yeah, see, I can't say that I've ever had fan mail. I've had letters from people, you know, when you've like received
Bye,
stickers
Diana. Yeah.
or you know, the odd subscriber giveaway box and stuff like that. I've had a few bits and pieces, but I mean, I'm quite happy to have all my stickers around everywhere. Right, but that's definitely for you, Wayne. I don't think that one was aimed at me.
Yeah, fair enough, Scott. I can live with that. That, Stefan, is absolutely sick. I love that. Where did you get that from? I don't know if you can see it, but
What's
that
that?
looks
Phone
like it's
case?
no. So that is a photograph on my phone of something Stefan's just sent me through, and what it looks like is that's been painted onto the bottom of a mini skateboard deck.
Nice.
That's stunning. I love that artwork. That's brilliant. Who done that?
And no, Scott, no new mugs at the minute.
I got a new mug.
Oh, there you go. Stefan sent it to me. Oh yeah, yeah. See, when he was holding it, like when you were showing it, it looked almost like he was holding a phone case, like a
Yeah.
phone in his hand, and it was on.
So if that was done by one of your mates, you've got a very, very talented mate. They need to advertise some of this stuff, because I would definitely have something painted up that I could hang on the wall. Definitely.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to screenshot that because it's going to disappear. Yes. Right, let me see if I can show this one as well. It's not going to work. There's too much light. Something that Scott's just sent me through now. It looks like a pencil drawing on wood of a
I was
boa.
going to
It's
say,
absolutely stunning.
you know, put it in the stream, and I'll share the screen.
I'll tell you what. I'll send it your Messenger, and you can share the screen that way.
I don't know if my laptop will let me do it or not. But we'll have a go. I don't quite know how you do it either.
Right, it's coming now. So if your bits along the bottom, it should have a thing there where it says, if you hover over it, it should say share screen.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can, because I think I can do it as well, actually. I don't think it just has to be you. I think I can share my screen. You've just got to accept it.
Yeah, that's it.
So let me see if I can do it that way. 2 seconds. Right. So there.
Nope. A big screen it.
Yeah, you kind of have to tilt your head a little bit to see it, but that's absolutely stunning. Yeah, Stefan, the keeper cards tea towel is going to go on the wall at some stage. Yeah, who did that painting, Scott? That was amazing.
Yeah, and my keeper cards towels down here in my little box, you know, hiding away so the missus don't get it.
Yeah, mine's sat here still wrapped up in its little
Exactly the same. And hello, Scott.
Hello.
Hey, dude.
Yeah.
You alright?
Yeah, not too bad, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I was going to say I can probably get it up a bit better and that, just turning the screen around and showing you.
I'm digging the haircut, dude.
Cheers, man. It's well, obviously you know that I wanted to go shorter, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah. It's aged you slightly, though.
Pardon?
It's aged you slightly. You look a little bit older now.
It's a number one, but
I can get away with that. Completely got the wrong shaped head to have short hair.
Wrong one. Wrong one.
No, the last time I did it, it just looked like I'd like tried to escape from prison. I was just an escape convict.
He's vanished. I think he was trying to share his screen and then
He's back.
Trying to work out how I'm going to flip the camera around, but for some reason it wasn't coming up like it normally does. There we go. Oh, which back-facing camera is the right one? Go for this one.
Yeah. That's pretty smart. Who done that?
It was a friend on one of the reptile groups. So they basically went and just do it for fun. So no money or nothing for it. Just sent me it as a thank you for like some help on that.
That's mega.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty epic. Like,
But I'm getting used to keeping my scorpions now. Spinnaker's a little bit jittery. You know, once you lift the cork bark up, it likes to have a bit of a move around, and I have to make sure it don't climb the mesh and try and get out. But other than that, the Silenus is just way too small. I'm well out of my depth of it, but it's going all right.
Yeah, they're fairly easy to look after once you get the hang of it. Like, they can be a little bit nerve-wracking when you first start keeping them, but once you get used to it and you settle into it, they're pretty much bomb-proof. Just with the Heterometeus species, don't let them dry out. That's the only key for them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite glad that I've had like experience with the boa and that, like looking at humidity, sort of understanding what certain humidities look like and that, you know. But the PSI would fit on my little fingernail.
Wow.
Like, it's absolutely tiny. And it's got attitude. Like, out of the two, that was the one that was trying to sting the tongs.
Yeah.
So
it was a bit the same when we first started keeping tarantulas. We bought Ceracosmus elegans at 0.5 and didn't expect it to be so small. Turned up and it was like, where is it? Where? And they just like sent us an empty pot. And lo and behold, you know, slowly peeling away all this tissue, and you're like, it's there. Where?
Well, that was a bit like those. The Cupienius Soleil, the tiger wandering spiders that I got, because they were like little 0.5 millimeter, little crazy little tiny things. And they were a nightmare because they're so fast and so jumpy that trying to like sort those out was hilarious. It was like a scene from Benny Hill, chasing these little tiny things around, trying to get them in the tub. So the video for that's quite funny. They're massive now, by the way. 6 months down the line, and they are huge now. Like a good sort of nearly 4-inch leg span.
That's good, man.
I've got one male that's confirmed, and it looks like the other 3 are female, which has worked out really well. I lost one of the 5 very, very early on in a molt, but the rest of them are doing really well. Problem is they need rehoming now.
And Stefan, have you tried to sex it yet? It's elegance. He's saying the other day.
Yeah. Problem is with that, you need an electron microscope to check it out.
And even then, it's sort of like trying to pull the molt apart enough so that you can see it.
Yeah, problem with that is you can't do it delicately enough when they're that size. One tug too much and it's done. You're like, oh, well, that's that idea gone out the window then.
Right, now I've got to wait another 3 months.
Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to doing the rehouse on these wandering spiders.
I rehoused a few of my isopod colonies the other day.
Okay.
And I think I've probably got quite a few babies running around my room now, because I went from a 5 litre tub, like a shoebox, up to 10 litres that I'm used to. So if I turn around and show you what I mean. So you see all those tubs up there?
Yep.
And then I went from the little tub that's just on top of the bigger box there.
Yep.
So my thought was, let's go for, like tip it really gently and it should just like gently go in and, that'll work. It didn't work.
No, it all falls out in one big lump, doesn't it?
And so I'm there like hoping to God that I don't have like a ton of clown isopods just like making purchase in my room now. It would be the worst thing. Like of all the ones that I would want roaming around, I think they're the coolest. So
if it makes you feel any better, dude, a little while ago we did the same thing with an entire colony of about 2,500 Turkestan roaches.
That's going to be a couple of years down the line when you're still seeing them running around.
See, amazingly enough, we haven't. So they just, I think it was just because it was just before winter.
Maybe they're
and they
just
just
getting ready.
haven't handled the cold.
They're just getting ready to attack.
Amassing forces somewhere in the cavities of the walls, just waiting to creep out like a scene from a
It's going to be like
Arachnophobia.
the Spanish Armada. Just
All
like
sat
attacking.
around one pipe that runs up your wall, just all
It is
huddled around it.
It's going to be like that scene from The Mummy when all those scarab beetles go over there.
They'll just all form into like one big mass, and there'll be like some super connected mind, and they'll take over the world.
Like a giant Japanese kaiju cockroach.
Yeah, that's it.
Mega.
So we need to like genetically modify an iguana to fight them back.
Yeah. So the free roaming OBT, Stefan, were in the old house before we moved. I'm pretty sure we didn't bring any of those with us. We've just left them for the new occupants.
That's a nice home warming. Yeah.
So that was another one. So obviously we had the issue here with the roaches. That was the cat that did that because she like got up on the edge of the box while we were cleaning them all out, and she just tipped the box over, and this just sea of roaches covered the living room. We collected as many of them up as we physically could, but like I said, I guarantee we didn't get them all. But the last place, the house we lived at before, we bought a gravid female OBT. She'd made an egg sac. We didn't know she'd made an egg sac, and they all hatched out. And we started seeing these random little spiders wandering around all over the place. And it was like, you take a look at it and you're like, that's not a normal spider. That's definitely not. That's definitely a baby tarantula. And then we started collecting them up, but we were finding them downstairs in the kitchen, and they were in the spare room upstairs. So they'd obviously managed to migrate from there all the way downstairs. God knows where else they went. We collected them all up and like finally sorted them all out, but I guarantee we missed a few, and I guarantee there are still OBTs living in that house somewhere because they're a pretty bomb-proof species.
You're just having a shower one day and this OBT just turns up. At least it could be worse. It could be an Escal.
Yeah. Which is basically just like an arboreal OBT with a bigger attitude, to be fair.
Yeah. With the speed equivalent to a David Bowie.
Yeah, they're pretty quick.
But then I'd rather that than a David Bowie, because at least I can appreciate an Escal in looks. I mean, I'd be shitting myself.
Got something against Bright Orange Huntsman then, yeah?
I've got something against Huntsman, full stop. Just true spiders, apart from jumping spiders and a couple of exceptions, I can't deal with. But I'm getting a lot better at wild spiders now. Like, there was a Steatoda nobilis at my mate's house today.
Okay.
So I got the macro camera out on my phone and took a few shots on my Insta at the moment. But it was pretty cool. Like, I can kind of appreciate it more and not panic and turn into an absolute wimp. But I'm very, very far away from even keeping like a nice starter tarantula. You know,
they still just give you the heebie-jeebies a little bit, do they?
Yeah, like even an Agen or a Calcodes or whatever. Like, I don't think I'm ready. And part of me would want to go for a Brunipes or like a pumpkin patch or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they're smaller. But at the same time,
that doesn't necessarily mean better. Smaller doesn't necessarily mean, especially if you're getting into it and you've got a little bit of arachnophobia anyway. Don't go for a dwarf species, especially not something like a pumpkin patch. They're pretty chill, but they can be very bolty. And the last thing you want is a bolty tarantula if you're very, very new to it.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, the larger the tarantula, the less it can move. Because of the way their body system works, you'd expect it to be. But then you look at, what do you call them? Your blondies and that, they're not.
Oh, they can move.
Yeah.
I mean, you take pokies, for example. Yes, they're an arboreal Asian species, but most, like, you look at a P. regalis, they top out about a 9-inch leg span. That's a pretty big arboreal species.
Yeah.
You know,
And when they spread out,
they
it's
are
quite
quick.
impressive.
Yeah, they are quick as well. Yeah, you want to, you know, even so you look at things like the Aphanopalma calcodes and stuff like that, or the Grammostola, what do you call it, the Pulchripes, the Chaco Goldney and stuff. They're generally quite chilled out, but again, they're not the most chilled species. So a lot of people recommend them as, yeah, really good beginner, and they are good beginner species. And Ageniculata I wouldn't recommend as a beginner species.
Yeah.
Not if you have arachnophobia already. If you're starting out and you've kept other stuff and you're not new to the world of exotic pet keeping, then yeah, do you know what? Get an Ageniculata. They're an impressive species. You know, they get to an enormous size as well. I mean, they'll top out close to 10-inch leg span. They are absolutely monstrous.
I think the scorpions will help over time because it is an arachnid. It is a movement that is, and even with the scorpions, I'm not scared of them, but I do find that I get that kind of fuzzy feeling in your face.
Yeah.
When you see them moving around and that, it's that kind of like.
It's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like not in a bad way.
You can't describe it. Yeah.
I got that sort of jumpy feeling the first time that I watered my first the Heterometis species I've got. I like poured some water in, and all of a sudden this scorpion just like darted out, and it was like, oh, okay, you're there. Didn't realise I was
feel like
water on
jumped
top
in
of
the
him.
deep end a bit by having babies to start off with, because I kind of feel like that.
Yeah, I mean, with the scorpions, I don't suppose it really makes a huge amount of difference, to be honest. I mean, they're a little bit more delicate. They're not quite so bomb-proof as getting adults that have already sort of grown up and nature's taken its course and weeded them out and stuff like that. But if you want to ease into it, there's nothing wrong with starting with scorpions. And scorpions are actually easier to look after than spiderlings, to be fair.
Yeah. The Silena, the smaller one, it doesn't even have a water dish because it's so small. I've got it in a 4-ounce deli cup, and I've literally got like a bit of moss, so it can hide under the moss. It can hydrate from the moss, and it's got it's got a depth of substrate where it could burrow and do what it needs to do, but it's always in the middle of the tub. Like it's never actually hiding in that. It's quite cool because I always open it and I always know where it's going to be, but I've modified the deli cup by putting like 5mm holes in the top, and then I've put chiffon mesh across like I would in like the larger tubs.
Yeah.
So it's got ample ventilation and everything. It's not like I've just shoved it in a little tub and hoped for the best. But I checked on your stock that I'm going to be sending you, so doing well.
Good.
I do want to send them out. I was going to wait until my stickers will come, but it's really up to you now, man. It's taking a bit longer than I thought it would.
That's absolutely fine, mate. That's fine. You know, when everything's all there and ready to go, do it in one go. Makes more sense.
Yeah. And when I do get stickers, Tom, if you email me your address, I'll work out getting a packet of stamps or whatever, and I'll send you over some as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, before having my scorpion, I've had one scorpion before, but that literally, I kept him in a big Exoterror, and all he ever did was hide behind the background.
Is this your Sermani that you're talking about?
No, this was can't remember now. This is going back before I had YouTube, the channel, and everything else. Which is going back like 3 years or so now, and I never found it eaten or anything, and it eventually passed away. But it was also missing one pincer as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that mealworm trick, I put the part mealworm in. For the larger one, I just cut one in half and put the whole thing in, but in half. And then for the smaller one, I took a couple of segments and that, and sort of gave it a couple of bits. The small one, nothing was left the next day. The larger one, there was literally just the empty chitin layer outside. So I'm really happy with that because it shows that they've done something.
Yeah.
So that's a lot off my mind, rather than trying to wait for them to eat a live mini isopod or trying to get mini mealworms in them.
Hmm.
But obviously, the second I can feed live, I will.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference with scorpions. Scorpions will scavenge.
I mean, even trying to feed pinhead crickets is a bit of a nightmare sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah, because they're in my bedroom, I don't really want to be risking having a load of pinhead crickets.
They don't survive for very long outside of their tubs and stuff. To be fair, pinhead
You
crickets
say
die off
that,
pretty quickly.
I had a cricket living in my room for like 3 months. It done my head in so much I ended up sleeping downstairs for a bit. Give me a headache. And then the gecko swiftly went downstairs after that.
Hmm.
But,
Yeah, no chirping crickets for me this evening.
No, I can hear that.
the other stream was like being in the rainforest or whatever, or being out on the moors.
See, I quite like it. I find it quite a relaxing sound.
It is until you have to sleep in it.
Yeah. But then, given my job, I'm used to sleeping out in the field. So,
Done any more rehousing, Tom?
As I was saying earlier, I done a quick sort of rehouse of some slings last night, but other than that, I haven't really got round to doing any other sort of big enclosures with live plants or anything.
Yeah. Well, it'll definitely be good when the scorpions get on a bit and that. I'll definitely be talking to you about what would be a good couple of plants, because although I've done the boas bio, the smaller, more delicate plants I haven't really had much luck with, so definitely want to get some knowledge with that. But he's got a bonsai tree, a dracana, and a spider plant, and they're all doing amazing. So,
yes, Tyler, with your cut up mealworms for slings, yes, to the velvet spiders, they will probably eat cut up mealworms because you can drop it in the web and they'll go for it. With the jumping spiders, no, they're reactive to movement. They actively hunt, so you probably wouldn't get them feeding on cut up mealworms. You probably have to use a small food source like fruit flies if you're getting a little sling to start with. Fruit flies are a nightmare. They end up getting everywhere.
And then depending on what
on springtails, or springtails just that tiny bit too small.
Springtails are probably just a tiny little bit too small for jumpers.
Maybe Trichowina isopods, they're dwarf whites.
The dwarf whites, yeah.
They could be alright.
Yeah, they're good feeders. You can buy those for feeding to dart frogs and stuff anyway, so.
Yeah. Just don't have them near any other isopod bins because you will get out competed and it can cause colony death. So if you ever see dwarf whites,
this might be why my first colony of isopods failed.
Most likely, although they burrow and they do form a different niche in the tank, they will still outcompete the resources, and eventually it becomes an issue. And that's the reason that quite a lot of people, when they're breeding them, that they find that their colonies just go bombed, and then they look in there and there's just a ton of dwarf whites.
Yeah, so I started off with just one big box that initially had tropical drays and tropical dwarf whites in, and then I chucked in some giant orange as well, the Porcellio laevis, and that's probably why the laevis didn't do anything. The giant oranges didn't do anything. So the one things that have remained is the tropical greys and tropical dwarf whites. There's plenty of them, but everything else I've put in there doesn't ever seem to do anything.
Yeah, so what I found in the boa tank was the same as you. I'd had a load of oranges, they done really well, and then suddenly they disappeared and all I saw was greys, and then the greys started disappearing because the dwarf whites eventually outcompeted them. And I think it's all to do with the amount that they breed. So if you're getting 100 babies to laevis only doing like 50 babies, or they're reproducing more often, then eventually you'll just end up with, but you should still get stragglers, because I still found orange isopods in my hognose tank, and I never put orange isopods in my hognose tank, but I did reuse some of the substrate that I originally reused for the boa, which went to the corn, which then went to the hognose, and I still found orange isopods even though they'd not been hydrated or anything. It was really weird. So occasionally you might just get a random one just pop up.
Okay. I'll keep my eyes open then, just in case there's a re-emergence.
But with the ones I send you, I would say even if they're the same species, try and keep them separate, because although I'm doing cross morph in the boa tank, it's always best to sort of keep separate, because it gives you the option, if you overpopulate, to sell on and to make a bit of money back. And it also gives you the option that you don't end up with one taking over the other and only ending up with like dairy cows rather than a mix of the two.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's something that I've only learned recently by being in isopod groups. Because before I just thought, oh, they all do the same thing, I'll just bung them all in and see what happens.
Yeah.
But you very quickly realise that one takes over the other and you end up with just one boring looking tank. But at the moment I've got suicidal isopods because they keep on going in the boa's new water bowl. I've put a in and they keep on going off the plant into the seed tray and not being able to get out.
Yeah, see, I like I said, isopods are a fairly new thing for me, and the more I'm starting to look into it, I still think things like, what is it, the Cubaris, the rubber duckies, platinum duckies, and stuff like that. I still think they're absolutely stunning. Don't get me wrong, they're lovely to look at, but I think they're just shockingly expensive for what they are. I mean, the bottom line is it's a fucking woodlouse.
You have to be a woodlouse person to be paying that kind of money.
Yeah,
this is why I still don't.
Is if I
talked about them a little while ago now, didn't I? But
yeah,
it's still that whole price of things, and it's like, can I justify it?
On Insektenleben, which is like Insect Library or whatever, it's a German website, where there's a lot of isopods in that. They're £20, and you think, oh, that's good. But then you click on it and you realise that's for one isopod.
Yeah.
So the one that did impress me. So if I was going to do that, like I get the ornamental species, I get that, but the ones that intrigue me the most are the Hoffman Segai.
I had them; they crashed
because of the size of them.
I've got some caramel ones, Sevilla caramel, and they get the same size, if not a fraction smaller. And I've also got Hassai that I'm trying to breed at the moment as well, which are a similar size, but they're really stunning. If you have a look on my Insta, you'll see they're the yellow and black. So they've got yellow blotches on their back in 2 lines. They're really stunning.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to get some more Hoffman Segai soon off my isopod guy. And
Spider Shop's got them in stock at the moment. 35 quid for 10.
Yeah, I can get very, very good prices from my friend, but I can't disclose what they would be.
Okay.
Because otherwise I wouldn't get.
Fair enough.
Well, the only thing that I'm really after at the minute is some dwarf whites. That's, but everywhere I look at the minute, I can't seem to find them.
Message Mark Titterton. I believe he has dwarf whites, or Nick Richards. They're both on my friends list.
Yeah.
They're breeders that I know that have quite a few different species.
Or if you want them from a more commercial perspective, look at, as I was saying earlier on, Reptile Centre UK. I've got them in stock at the moment. They come from Peregrine. But
yeah, they had a problem with supply for a while. That's the whole reason I started buying off Facebook, was because I couldn't get them from the commercial sites. But I'm so glad that I found these guys, because you get so much more selection.
Well, the first lot of isopods I bought, I don't know if you've seen it on my channel, I've got an Isopod King unboxing video. The first lot of like ornamental species of isopods I bought were from the Isopod King on Facebook.
Was that when it was still Chris doing it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Dorr. Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, it wasn't a bad little like mystery box. I didn't want to spend a fortune with him because it was the first time buying isopods and I didn't know how they were going to do. So I just said, look, I'm interested in a few. Just what can you put me together for X amount of cash, sort of thing. and that's what he sent me through, and it wasn't a bad little box. And I think out of all of them that were there, I've got the Greek pillbugs and the Armadillium granulatum are the ones that have really sort of taken off.
Yeah, so the officinalis are the ones that stritulate, aren't they? So when you hold them, they can make a sound like a defensive thing.
Yeah.
Which it's the only reason I would buy them, because other than that, I think they're quite plain. But
Yeah.
a lot of people say that there's something to them that makes them kind of interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and the dairy cows. I've got dairy cows at the same time, and they've exploded. I've got tons of them.
How was the packaging when you got the order from the iSpod King?
It was pretty good.
Yeah. I got a package a month and a half ago or so. But
Okay.
with the new management, I don't know whether they didn't have the right size box, whatever, but I didn't do an unboxing video in that, and I sent them some feedback. So hopefully they're sort of taking the advice that I gave them, and I will be ordering from them in the next couple of months, maybe, just to see if anything's changed. But
Okay.
I think the change in hands, it's been a bit of an adjustment period for them.
Yeah.
But the iSpods themselves were good. The packaging was a bit, so I gave them some feedback like they asked, and I'll give them another chance and see where they're at, because I don't think anyone should really negatively review a company until you've given them that second chance. And that
I say everyone's entitled to an off day, aren't they?
yeah, exactly.
You know,
And for
making
all I
mistakes
know,
is
they
an
might have had
opportunity to
one
rectify.
polybox left that was the wrong size, and so they've done everything they can to try and pack it to make it right,
Right.
so they can get it out on time, because that does happen as well. Sometimes you just end up with one really odd shaped box because you ain't got any.
I'd rather wait.
Hmm.
I'd rather them say, look, I'm really sorry, but we're out of boxes, waiting for a new stock to come in. Do you mind if we delay your order? I'd prefer that.
And the thing that I'm gonna do when I do orders, etc., which not a lot of iSpod people do, is the waiting for the weather, like
Yeah.
what Tony Webb does, and many other Spider Shop, I think, do it as well, don't they?
Yeah.
But a lot of iSpod people will put heat pack in, do it special delivery, and sort of hope for the best and not really consider the weather. Whereas I want to be as confident in shipping as possible. So anything below sort of 5 degrees C, I don't want to ship that night. And anything above, say, like 25 C or something stupid like that, then I probably wouldn't want to ship as well.
Yeah.
Because an ice pack is even harder to regulate than a heat pack. So
Yes.
sometimes it's just better to wait that extra time.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, that's good.
Whereabouts is James tonight, anyway?
Don't know. He just messaged earlier and said that he wasn't going to be able to make it tonight.
Oh, no worries.
So,
Angel about?
She's in the front room at the minute.
Oh, no worries.
So I'm gonna have to call it a night soon. Unfortunately, I'm starting to flag a little bit, and I've got an early start in the morning.
You're not the only one.
So, yeah.
Because I've got a couple of bits to do still, but I wanted to just pop on and see how you guys were.
Yeah, no, it's appreciated, dude. It's always good having you on.
Yeah, thank you. Right, I'll see you in a bit then.
All right, dude. Take care.
No worries.
Oh,
yeah, well, like I said earlier, I'm up at about 5, so.
Yeah, I'm not up quite that early, but I need my beauty sleep.
And considering I overslept this morning, it's sort of...
Well, I'll tell you what then, mate, if we call it a night there.
Yeah, I mean,
and hopefully
it's only half hour off our usual time, so.
Yeah. So who's still in?
Saying that we got 4 in the chat. So
yeah.
From what I know, Tyler, Stefan, Crawley, and possibly Scott.
Yeah. Okay. For the guys that left in the chat, thanks very much for joining us, guys. As always, hugely appreciated
Yeah.
the support and everything else.
Brilliant.
We're going to call it
Indeed.
like now. So we will see you next week. It's on my channel
Your
next week.
channel.
So yeah, keep your eyes out, and we will see you 8 o'clock sharp Tuesday next. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Right. Thank you again.
Pleasure as always, and we'll speak to you again soon. Take care,
We
everyone.
will indeed. See you all.
Bye bye.